G'day, well Jonathan Brake here, and I'm one of the principals at Integrate. As you can see, I'm in Sydney, Australia right now, just home for a visit. And one of the things I wanted to talk about, and one of the areas in our business, we talk about building wells and not building fences around and attracting clients. And so I wanted to talk about that because it's actually an Australian idea. And it comes from the outback where we have large cattle stations, or ranches as you would know them as, and the farmers will have, some properties won't have fences at all, and they'll have anywhere up to 100, 150,000, maybe more head of cattle. So the question is, how do they actually bring that cattle in when it's time to obviously send them off to the markets? So what they do, and because Australia is very dry, what they do is they'll dig a really deep well, and it'll have lots of fresh water and lots of beautiful water coming out, and they flood the land with that water. And in flooding the land, it creates that scent, it creates the green pastures, and it creates that space that attracts the cattle in. And so it's a great analogy, and it's one of the analogies that I really like using in business in terms of, is our business digging great wells, or is it building fences because we have to keep our clients in? And we can give great examples of businesses that are good at providing great experience, or providing great strategy and really clear on who they are, why they do what they do. There's a whole bunch of wells you can dig. In fact, strategic clarity is the first well that we talk about in this process. And so it's understanding why we are, who we are, what we do, how we do it, all those sorts of things, and getting an alignment around that space so there's no confusion as to where we're going as a business. So we have 5 wells that we believe every business should dig that will lead you to organisational or business health. I've already mentioned the first one with strategic clarity. The second one is your people and developing your people, providing the right training programs. I often hear this, well, we just want to have the right people doing the right things, and it's a very easy throwaway line. But what does that mean? What does it mean? How do we know we have the right people doing the right things? How do we know they've got the proper training and they've got the proper things that they need to do what they do? So it's understanding that space. The third well is of organisational structure and systems. Are you constantly reviewing your systems? Are you constantly looking at ways to improve your business and looking at ways to do business better? Are you looking at making if you're in manufacturing, or in fact if you're in any business, are you looking at being more lean in the way you do things? And so this is where you look at your systems. We look at frameworks for your business that make sense, systems that people can follow, because again, systems are only as good as the people following them, so they've got to be followable. So that's the third well. The fourth well, which is one of my favourites, is the well of sustainable innovation. And at the end of the day, this isn't about, are we coming up with new fandangled products? Now, it might mean that, but what it is are we actually innovating? Are we actually looking for creative ways to solve common problems? Are we challenging the process? Are we coming up with new things? Are we getting together regularly and looking for ways to innovate? And it may even lead you into new product areas or new ways of doing the product you already have. And that usually comes out of a need. Necessity is the mother of all invention, and so when we're looking at innovation, innovation is really important, and it comes out of that space of a company that wants to look at ways of challenging. So we're looking for companies there that say, well, this is the way we've always done it, and that's when we know we've got work to do. And then well number 5, which is probably the most important in all of this, is consistent execution. And at the end of the day, nothing's done until something's done. Sounds really simple, but let's face it, one of the biggest problems with strategy and developing your people and all that sort of thing is in the execution. And so one of the things we're really passionate about, and really passionate about businesses, is developing that accountability and that mentoring space that will allow them to get more accountable to getting stuff done. At the end of the day, businesses that aren't getting stuff done aren't making money, or they're not making enough money. And so, we find there'll be cash flow constraints, there'll be all sorts of challenges, unhappy team, people feeling like they're wasting their time, people feeling like they can do the job better, whatever it might be. So getting back into that consistent execution and making sure there is that clear-cut accountability, that's one of the things we do at Integrate, and we do very well with our clients, and getting them executing and actually doing the stuff they need to do. So there you have it. Welcome to Sydney, Australia. I hope you enjoyed the view, and Have a great day.